Thank you very much. Our next speaker is going to give you some tools for when you do your Ignite talk. Please welcome A.T. Lynne.
Picture this. You're up here talking to your audience, either an audience this size or perhaps an audience of your peers at work, 2 or 3 people, and you realize the idea in your head is igniting in theirs. And you know this is true because after you talk with them, they buy your product, they join your team, they support you. And you do all of this free of dependence on written materials. Hi, my name is A.T. Lynne, and I have an idea that I'd like to share with you, which is that every speaker on the planet, and especially every presenter in this room, speaks freely of dependence on written materials. Now, I call this idea, picture this one sheet, and on one sheet of paper, you can have all of the hand-drawn icons you need to keep yourself on track and your audience engaged. Now, have you ever been to a lecture where someone was talking, brilliant person giving you lots of ideas, and there on the PowerPoint were all his slides, giving you perhaps even the outline. Perhaps you even got a handout, but when you walk away, you just know that your head aches. Well, that's because the temporal lobe of our brain is what processes language, both written and spoken. It just can't do it at the same time. It switches back and forth. And what happens with that is that when people present an idea, both in writing and spoken, your audience is reading or they're listening, reading or listening. And that's where you get a lot of headache, a little bit of what is said, and a little bit of what is written. So this also is true of you as a speaker. If you're reading your notes or even reading from your slides, you are in that mode of reading and not in speaking. Your own brain switches back and forth, and it's very tedious for you as well. The good news is language is not the point. The point is to get your great idea into the minds of your listeners. Language is simply the bridge. So what's a speaker to do? Well, of course, if you're speaking, the predominant use of language is this. It's your voice. It's the story you tell. What if you want to keep on track? What if you want to help your audience have a fuller experience of your talk? Then you write your own, picture this one sheet, and you use hand-drawn graphics, doodles especially, because it's a way to track your ideas for your mind and your audience's mind. So what happens? Well, anything graphic is deciphered here in the occipital lobe. It works in great complement with the language you're speaking that's being processed here in the temporal lobe. And why hand-drawn? Well, I give you 3 reasons and a bonus benefit. The first reason is if you want your vision to be seen in the minds of others, if you want them to envision it, then be able to draw it, even in a doodle for yourself. Be able to create in your mind. This is exactly what Alfred Hitchcock did. He did the storyboards. And what you want is you want your story remembered as vividly as his, don't you? And so hand draw these things. Sketch it out first. So you say you can't draw? That's okay. Most of us can't. But all of us can doodle, and if you doodle like I do, it doesn't matter which hand you use. The second reason is that when you use an icon off the internet, probably saying, why not? Well, 2 things. The time you take looking for the just right icon is going to be a lot of time you could use planning your own thoughts, and very probably every icon you find will have different associations already for your audience. The third reason is that the mind is fascinated by anything it's never seen before. So even your simple doodles will hold your audience's interest till you give it meaning, and it will be your meaning, just your meaning. Now, if you want them to read something, great, just pause and let them read it. So now the bonus benefit is that Your doodle is just the tip of an iceberg of vast understanding within you, which means you can use those icons for a 5-minute Ignite talk or for an all-day seminar. One single sheet is sufficient. So join me, draw your own noodles, and understand your ideas, throw away your PowerPoints, and say, picture this.